Okay, so hi everyone. Maybe you can hear some noise behind me. So for those who don't know me, my name is Christiane Ohin-Traore, and I'm actually head of sales in the automotive industry that I joined recently at the beginning of this month. So I would like to share with you my presentation about a specific topic. I think that's a topic that carries me. It's about gender equality in the logistics industry, especially in Africa. I'm trying to.
You can put the presentation in slideshow mode and use the arrow keys. Yeah, sure. Super.
Good. So as you can see on my screen, just 18% of the companies are ruled or are headed by women worldwide. And I think that this kind of question are very important to be considered. As you know, we are, according to the, let's say, I think that this is the IMF that say that we are 50% of women on earth. So I think that a lot have to be done in different industries to have more women in leadership role. So, for example, Bolloré provides some number about the female representation in the industry. Only for 13% of female in the African, let's say, country where they are operated. And this number is very poor. As we know, as women, we can do more, but how we can reach or how we can increase that kind of number, I think that a lot have to be done. We can set some initiative to try to impact these figures. That's why I founded, let's say last year, an organization called WILA. WILA means Women in Logistics Africa. And the goal is to inspire women and youth to get trained and to enter in that industry, and also to promote the logistics sector to appeal to women and youth, because we need more women. Since we want to see more women in leadership role, we need to prepare them to get that role in the future. And I think that I found very interesting some studies that have been ruled by an organization called Women Working for Change. I think that they are very linked to the Africa CEO network, and they report that only 69% of women of companies have a representation of less than 25% of women in the board of directors. 56% of companies have a representation of less than 25% of women in management position. And when we get at gender equitable compensation system, we have only 69% again. You should know that this survey was convened through 500 companies in Africa in various sectors. But you know, in the logistics industry, we don't have precise number for Africa. And this is one of our goals, to get the figures and to see how we can improve that figures. So in my study, what I've tried to implement with my organization, we have, let's say, many different aspects on which we can start thinking. For example, the employment of the youth in the logistics industry, organization of information session related to the logistics industry to attract more women and youth, as I said before. Also, how to get more female in leadership role, even to set equal pay between men and women in that logistics. We know that in such domain like shipping or seafarers, this is a little bit difficult to see the same condition of payment for men and women. So I think that into in our industry, logistics, this is the same case. So we personally, I think that a lot can be done. We can provide answers and solutions to improve that situation. What we should know about our organization is that we now want to be a reference when we speak about when we talk about supply chain and logistics and even transport, we want WILA be mentioned as number one because we want to have a great impact on women in that field. That's why we want to promote the industry, to appeal to the youthness and women. We think about organizing some webinars to provide proper information, because when people don't have proper information, I think that it's not easy for them to get into that domain. And we, as an example, we need to speak out, we need to show what we are doing, we need to show the benefits of joining these kind of sectors for our continent, especially Africa. We also think about organizing training about leadership, because it's good to know, to get, let's say, technical skills, but we have also soft skills we need to get to, let's say, to go higher in any organization. I think about leadership, how you manage your career, how you made some decision, and also how you speak. Public speaking is also key. Speaking about communication is very key to get a leadership role. Okay. Another point is about how we can, let's say, to bring any support to the youth, those who are actually in college, high school, or even at university. And also, the most important is the last one, but it's very important to mentor the youth, because mentoring has a greater impact on career. Because let's say I am an example of mentoring, because I've been mentored for 1 year by a great organization called Africa SheEO Network, where let's say I've met with let's say great leaders that have impacted me. That's why today I've been able to create my own organization called WILA. And once we get into the organization, we need to sensitize the decision owner. As you know, many of these decision owners are male. They are men, so we need to have some discussion about how to get more, let's say, more female in boards or in management position. Since last year, we have implemented some action. For example, we start the organization in Ivory Coast, but we want to develop the presence of the organization in other areas across Africa. We also start some training about leadership, about strategies, and so forth. And what I like the most is a kind of rubric we publish on a social network. We call this rubric Lead Africa. And the purpose of this rubric, for example, is to spotlight some women that are working in that industry. And we already have 2 seasons, and I'm preparing the third one. The purpose is also to show to other women and even youth that, you know, we have women that are evolving in that male dominating industry. So be aware that you also, as women, you have your place. So join us simply. And what we want to start doing with our local governments is to conduct a survey to get really the figures about women that are working in that industry, shipping, transport, logistics, and so forth, and see year after year how we can improve these figures, because we need to have more, let's say, students learning logistics and so forth, even supply chain. But once they get the diploma, for example, they need to get a job in that domain. Even I think that in different environments, they have their place, so they can work in that domain, but when they need our support. That's why WILA is there to provide this kind of support, to make sure that they got their first internship, for example, or even their first job. Recently, we have launched a program, a mentoring program for students, and we have 29 mentees that actually are taking the program for 6 months, and at the end, we want to make sure that they got the first internship or the first job. I think that that's how we can improve, or we can create an impact in that industry. So I think that this is all from me. If you have any questions, I'm all ears. Thank you.